If we said it once, we've said it 100 times. Until there is actual transparency, there is little hope in regards to earnings for drivers that we can actually hope for. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. This one is particularly disturbing because in this market, drivers are about to get fucked over again. And we really had better hopes, a high outcome we were expecting for this. But this is yet again distressing. I want you to watch this video. It's like 3 minutes or so. But it definitely goes to show when a politician does not know what the hell they're talking about, it is us drivers, whether driving for Uber or Lyft, that receive the brunt of the misery. Check it out.
The hard job. Good afternoon, everyone. So we got two topics for today. The first one that I wanted to bring up was the ride-sharing ordinance, which is involving a very important legislative action that is likely taking place at the full city council meeting tomorrow. First, I want to give you my position. I support more than doubling the rate of pay that drivers for rideshare companies are able to make. I support making sure that the work that they do is valued and that they're able to get the compensation that is indicative of the hard job that they have. Now, the council wants to take that pay even further to a rate where Uber and Lyft would effectively leave the city. Not only would that not do any good for the drivers because it doesn't do any good to get a pay raise if you no longer have a job, but it's also very problematic for residents of our city and tourists, people that use ride-sharing service in some form. This is people with a disability. It's people of lower incomes that can't necessarily afford to buy a car, and when public transportation doesn't work in full, they need a mechanism from getting from point A to point B. This is for people that work odd hours at times that just need to be able to get to a job or place of work without an automobile. This is also for tourists, people coming to our city for a convention or otherwise that show up at MSP and need to get to a hotel or their convention center. All of these are ways that rideshare is ultimately used, and if this were to leave our city entirely, yes, of course, it's a big problem. Now, importantly, we don't need to choose between giving drivers a necessary raise and continuing to have Uber and Lyft in our city. We can do both of these things at the same time. If we engage all of the different entities involved, that's drivers, riders, and rideshare companies like Uber and Lyft, we're able to strike a balance and meet the necessary goals that I think that we all share.
Now, there's a lot to unpack there. Mayor Fry of Minneapolis, we've talked about him several times. Also, Governor Tim Walz of that state, because the lower level politicians clearly want more, want better for drivers. And it is these two dumbasses that continue to prevent drivers from getting any sort of relief. First being Governor Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota, and now Fry of the city of Minneapolis. He's on the cusp of a second veto. So he's about to shoot down drivers' hopes and dreams for a second time. Any rideshare driver in that particular market, I don't give a damn what you think about politics. You should vote and vote against this guy. But let's unpack what he actually discussed. Now, this is a rideshare ordinance about to be passed. Well, we thought it was about to be passed. Full meeting in city council. This is going to happen actually tomorrow. Now, if you listen to the actual mayor, he claims he supports more than doubling the earnings for rideshare drivers. Flat out bullshit. Now, let me tell you what the actual numbers are, and I didn't even write them down, but I have them in my damn head. $1.40 per mile for drivers. Also, it was a 51 cents per minute, like your wait time and things like that. I believe it was 80% of all fees the driver would get. So it would be an 80-20 split. 80% to the driver, 20% to Lyft. And there is another metric in there that I'm not quite remembering, but $1.40 a mile, 51 cents per minute, and 80% of the fees. Now, that Mayor Fry is saying he supports more than doubling the rate of pay that drivers for rideshare companies are able to receive. Here's his actual quote.
I support more than doubling the rate of pay that drivers for rideshare companies are able to make.
So if you support more than doubling the rate, and they're currently making they're currently asking for $1.40 per mile, then what the hell is the current rate? If $1.40, you support more than doubling the rate of pay that drivers for rideshare companies are able to make. That's his actual fucking quote. You support more than doubling what they're earning now. And you're turning down a proposal to pay them $1.40. If you only doubled it, that means it would be going from 70 cents to $1.40. He said he supports more than doubling it. So that means the driver's got to be making it at least 69 cents or less. What the hell? This is what we're talking about in regards to lack of transparency. This mayor does not know what drivers are earning. He doesn't know. Perhaps he needs to have his assistant or his secretary or somebody go out there and actually take a few trips and see what they're earning. Because if $1.40 is more than, you support more than doubling and $1.40 is too high, you're admitting that the drivers don't make shit. You're admitting that they got to be making 69 cents a mile or even less. 51 cents a minute wait time is more than double what? What is 51 cents a minute more than double of that you don't support? What do you think that the drivers are making? 20 cents per minute wait time or something like that? By the way, in my market, we were getting 9 cents a minute at one point. So the rates are very low around the country in a lot of markets. This mayor does not know what the hell he's talking about. You know what likely happened? Because he talks about it in the full video. And I'm going to link that in the description. The full video is 15 minutes long. I highly encourage you to watch it. Highly encourage you to watch it. What Minneapolis drivers are going through is a bunch of bullshit here. But my humble opinion is that, because he states in the video, he wanted folks from all sides to meet together and come to some type of conclusion. In my opinion, the reason he think the numbers $1.40, 51 cents is too damn high is because Uber and Lyft have slipped him some data, and that's what he's going by. And we all know Uber and Lyft's data is fucked up. We know that they include all of their expenses when they're doing their numbers, and they don't include any of ours. They include all of their expenses, take that out of the pot, and then start talking about dividing what's left. So at that point, you're dividing pure profit for Uber and Lyft versus your part, which has all your damn expenses in it. I mean, and there's nothing fair about it at all. And that's what it sounds like this mayor is dealing with, is that he's going by Uber's numbers, because Uber and Lyft, and it is Uber in this case as well. They are continuing to threaten to leave the area. And here is what's swaying the mayor. He's defending them on the grounds that Uber and Lyft is a valuable service to tourists, the disabled, folks who earn lower income, and folks who work odd hours. We all agree with that. We all agree that it is a good service for people who do that shit. But it's a premium service. We're not the fucking bus. We're not a city bus. You don't pay us like you would pay to get on a bus. And in some markets, it actually is cheaper to get an Uber or Lyft than to catch the damn bus for what the driver is making, not for what the passenger is paying. The passenger is never going to pay less than they would on a bus, but the driver may be getting money that's commensurate to what a transfer on a bus or whatever would cost. There are trips that pay under $5. That was the other metric I meant to bring up, is that the trips would pay a minimum of $5, a minimum. So you're not driving across town to pick somebody up, take them from point A to point B and earning less than $5. We know in a lot of markets you can do that right now, and you get some shit like $2.50 to $3. That happens certainly in my market. Plenty of trips, Plenty of trips pay less than $5. So they were going to pass an ordinance that the minimum a driver could earn per trip is $5. I don't see how the man could suggest that he supports more than doubling the rate of pay that drivers for rideshare companies could earn, and suggesting that $5 minimum per trip is way above that notion. This is clear that this mayor, talking about Mayor Fry, has no clue what drivers actually earn. And in the actual meeting, like I said, I certainly would prefer you watch the video because it's a 15-minute video. He does get asked a couple questions. But one thing they don't get clarity from on him is, what do you think they're making now? What do you actually think they're making? If you support more than doubling what they're earning, how much do you think they're making? You got the metrics. They want $1.40. What are they earning now? That the $1.40 is above and beyond you suggesting that you'll support more than double. What are they earning? 51 cents a minute wait time. If that's above and beyond your acceptance that you'll give them more than double, then what are they earning now per minute wait time? 80% of the fees go to the driver. What percentage are they getting now? More than double. If it's only double, that means they're getting 40% of the fees. If you support more than double, then what percentage of the fees are they getting? 20? 25%? His actual statement makes it clear he don't know what the fuck is going on. He just don't. Because the numbers are right there. I mean, I've went over articles and every damn thing. The numbers are right there, what the drivers are asking for. And if he believes that meeting those numbers is so high, it even goes above his own ability to give and take and give drivers more than double, then he don't know what the hell he's talking about. And he's also admitting that drivers, based on what he is saying, if you just run his own numbers back at him, he would be admitting that drivers really don't make shit. They're making less than 70 cents a mile, less than 26 cents per minute wait time. Less than 40% of the fees are going to the driver. This is based on his own numbers. And last but not least, less than $2.50 for a minimum fare. Just simply going by the numbers he presented. Lack of transparency, folks. Sitting down at the table with Uber when they're giving you skewed numbers. Where they sit there and take the driver. Let's say, for instance, you pay the passenger pays $10. So Uber and the driver has to split the passenger's fare of $10. Well, Uber may determine, well, for our insurance costs, our admin costs, the cost of giving them an app and all of this other bullshit, it cost us $3 out of that 10. So they take their $3 off the top. Okay, we now have $7 remaining. Let's split up the $7. Well, shit, what kind of expenses do the driver have? That's the problem, is that they're not factoring in the driver's expenses before they chop up the damn pot, but they are factoring in their own. Under that game, it'll never be fair for drivers. It just simply won't. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but like I said, watch the video. Prepare to be pissed off because it gets worse and worse. The way he responds to the questions, the way he talks as if he's trying to do us a damn favor, but we're asking for too much. Really, really angered the hell out of me. But nevertheless, do you know what you earn in your market, by the way? Do you know what your per mile, per minute wait times are? Like, how much do you earn in your market? I tell you all the time, my market pays about 72 to 75 cents per mile. I think it's certainly under a quarter per minute in wait time. So we're nowhere near the numbers that Minneapolis is seeking. We are less than half of that. We are in this market less than half of that. So let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to see what numbers do you have? Because without folks actually knowing what drivers make, you're going to get more and more of this shit. It's your boy Tim. As always, feel free to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Catch you in the next video.